Okay guys, I'm about to make a cauliflower rice mushroom risotto. Okay, and I'm using a recipe out of this cookbook. So let's see. Here are the ingredients. And I'm going to be doubling this recipe because I just bought a container of riced cauliflower at Sprouts. And so I think a container is about a half a head of cauliflower, and I want to go ahead and use the entire container. So these are the ingredients. Okay, so I've already started putting things together. So this is the cauliflower. I've already steamed it in the microwave, so you start off by adding a little bit of water to this and putting it in the microwave for about 7 minutes. I'm going to be using this Pinot Grigio, which I love. Instead of vermouth, this is the white wine that I'm going to put in here. Mushrooms. So I'm doubling the recipe. The recipe calls for 1 cup of mushrooms. This is actually 3 cups of mushrooms. I don't think I'm going to use the whole thing. So I had some portobello caps available that I was going to use for something else, and so that's what I chopped up for this because I didn't end up using them. The recipe calls for a medium onion, which I just chopped, and I'm going to be lazy. I chopped up the mushrooms, I chopped up the onions. I'm going to just be using this already pre-chopped garlic. They want you to use 2 cloves. And then it says to use chicken bouillon powder, which I couldn't find, so I went ahead and just bought this paste. And then Parmesan cheese. So I grated my own Parmesan cheese. I love this grater that I got from IKEA. See how you can store your cheese in the grater. It comes with a lid that you can put on here, but I love how easily you can just grate your cheese right into the container. Okay, so these are my ingredients. So right now I have some butter melting on the stove. I'm about to saute my onions and my garlic and my mushrooms. Okay, so I just finished sauteing together the onions, the mushrooms, the garlic. I added about 2.5 cups of mushrooms, and then I added in almost all of that onion. I saved just a little bit of it to use for my salmon patties, which I'll be making next, and then the garlic. So after you saute all this together, you add in the cauliflower rice. So let me do that. Okay, so I put the cauliflower in here and mixed it all together. I definitely think this is the type of recipe where exact quantities doesn't matter. So I've already measured out the wine here, which I'm going to pour in. And then here's the cheese, which I'm going to go ahead and add. And then next, I need to measure out the chicken bouillon, which I can't do with one hand, so I'm going to measure this out and add it in, and then let everything cook together. Okay, so I just tasted this, and it is delicious. It is so cheesy. And this recipe is also very different from other recipes that I've seen on the internet. Most recipes I've seen have you cook the cauliflower in the chicken broth. And then also a lot of recipes have cream in them and they don't have as much cheese. Because this has so much cheese in it, it's just very cheesy and it's rich. It's very, very good. Okay, so next I'm going to be making some salmon patties to go with this. So I always divide everything up. So this is a couple of servings. I'm going to give this to a friend. This is 2 servings, which I'm going to put in the freezer. I had a lot of Parmesan cheese left, so that's why I just sprinkled it on top. So then when it's reheated, the cheese is going to soak into the risotto. And then this is what I'm going to eat for the next 2 days. So this is for the next 2 days. This is for the freezer, and that is for a friend. Okay, so the next recipe I'm making are salmon patties. If you've watched my meal prep videos, I have made these many times in the past, but it's actually been a while since I've made these. So this is kind of how I grew up making salmon patties. So now I have never used this brand of salmon. Usually I use the large can. It's like 14.5 ounces. I get it from Walmart. I always get the pink salmon because I think that's the best. And it's wild caught salmon, which this is wild caught, which is true. But I went to Sprouts and they only had these individual cans, which I don't recommend that you buy because these 2 individual cans cost me the same amount as 1 can at Walmart. Okay, so I've already put that in the bowl. Now for my breadcrumbs, so you can just use regular breadcrumbs. This is about 1/4 cup. But what these actually are is Wassa crackers. So my favorite Wassa crackers are these crisp and light ones, which are actually very hard to find. My Whole Foods does have these, but I'm no longer able to find them anyplace else. I like them because, let's see, whoops. Here are the stats. So for 3 slices, it's 70 calories, 15 carbs, 2 fiber, so it's 13 net carbs. So let me show you what a slice looks like. You see how big this is. So for this recipe, I only use 3 slices. So just to break things down for you, I make 6 patties with this recipe. It only ends up being about 2 net carbs per patty. I love these also, like on a normal day. I might break this just into 3 pieces and put cheese on it and have cheese and crackers. I love these. Okay, so yeah, the Wassa Crisp and Light. So yeah, I just pulverized these and put 1/4 cup in here. Now I'm going to put about 1/3 cup of onions just because I love onions. And I'm only measuring this for you guys. Normally I just put a bunch of onions in and I don't care. Now I'm going to put an egg in, which actually I cannot do while holding my camera. And I just squirt in some Dijon mustard. And then after I do that, I mix all of this together with my fingers. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so you can see here that I broke out my grill. So sometimes I just cook these in a skillet. They're really delicious if you pan fry them. But I broke out my little portable grill here so that I can cook them on the grill, because after I finish cooking these on the grill, I'm going to cook some sausages on the grill, like a whole package of sausage that I'm going to have for the entire week. So I will show you what this looks like when it is done. Okay, so my salmon patties are just about done. So now I am going to, so these breakfast sausage, no antibiotics ever. So I've never tried this particular brand before, but I've tried other brands like this that are either organic or no antibiotics ever. And so right now I'm going to break these down on this paper plate, and then I will put them on the grill as soon as my salmon patties are done. But I really do think they're pretty much done right now. Okay, so now my sausages are on the grill. You know, sausages that you cook yourself always taste so much better than pre-made sausages. Here are my salmon patties, and these actually freeze very, very well. Okay, so My sausage is done. I'm going to have sausage for the next 3 days. I'm going to have the salmon patties for the next 2 days. I have put the rest of the sausage in a freezer bag. So I have found, to me, with meats, if I wrap them in aluminum foil and then put them in a freezer-safe freezer bag, they actually freeze very well. My additional salmon patties are in here and I've labeled them. And now I am steaming some eggs in my egg cooker here, because for the next 3 days I will have one patty with one of these eggs.